Voice of Sovereignty, episode The Compliance Factory. This is the Voice of Sovereignty. Today, I'm going to tell you about something I built because nobody else would print it. It is called Voltage, the Journal of Applied Asymmetry. Issue number 1 is titled The Compliance Factory, and I am going to tell you why it exists, what is inside it, and why it matters to you, whether you are a student, a parent, a retiree, or someone who looked at the world this morning and thought, something is broken and nobody is fixing it. Let me start with a meeting I had recently. I sat down with an editor at a legacy newspaper. I brought a blueprint, a real working educational platform with 10 subjects, AI tutoring in 32 languages, 98 interactive games, and 177 published books. All free, all original. Every word is mine. I gave her one image to take home with her. I said, imagine you took a surgeon from the 1850s and dropped him into a modern operating room. He would be paralyzed. The robotic arms, the laparoscopic cameras, the gene therapies. He would not know where to stand. He would not recognize a single tool. Medicine evolved because the penalty for stagnation is death. When your methods fail, the patient dies in front of you. That feedback loop is merciless. And it drove medicine to reinvent itself every single decade for 176 years. Now take a school teacher from the 1850s and drop her into a modern classroom. She fits right in. The rows of desks, the bells, the passive students. The teacher at the front delivering information in one direction. She could pick up a marker and start teaching without missing a beat. She would not even know she had traveled through time. Why? Because education was never built for survival. It was built for compliance. It was designed to manufacture factory workers, people who could follow instructions, tolerate monotony, and show up on time. And it has not changed its architecture in over a century and a half. That is not an opinion. That is a historical fact. And Nobel Prize-winning research confirms the result. Students who score 96% on classroom tests succeed only 1% of the time when asked to apply that knowledge under real-world conditions. 96% mastery, 1% transfer. That is not education. That is an elaborate simulation of education. The editor listened. She raised good questions. But the legacy press cannot print this. They depend on the institutions they would have to criticize. They cannot afford to look at the monster. So I built my own platform, and Voltage is the dispatch. Let me walk you through what is inside issue number 1. The anchor article is called The 1850s Surgeon versus the 1850s Teacher. It is the full exploration of everything I just described. The broken feedback loop, the factory blueprint designed by industrialists, and the zombie operating system that produces graduates who are compliant, credentialed, and incapable. And the alternative, the functional monster, built ugly, built from scavenged parts, built to survive. The second feature is called the minimum viable monster. Silicon Valley gave us the minimum viable product. It was supposed to kill perfectionism. Instead, it became a permission slip, proof that you tried something without committing to anything. The minimum viable monster replaces it with the Frankenstein methodology. 5 stitches. Scavenge the parts. Diagnose the real problem. Assemble ugly. Electrify fast. Govern with guardrails. Your next project does not need to be pretty. It just needs to breathe. Then there is scavenging the university. The American university sells 4 things: structured knowledge, credentialed validation, peer networks, and access to old guard wisdom. 3 of those 4 can be extracted without enrolling. The 4th, the credential, is a receipt for time served, not a certificate of capability. And its market value is collapsing faster than anyone holding the frame wants to admit. The friction killer tears down the annual performance review, the most universally despised practice in corporate life. It does not improve performance. It does not increase engagement. It is a legal document dressed up as a development conversation. We replace it with the living audit, weekly signal, monthly portfolio review, and quarterly recalibration. 52 data points per year instead of 1. The monster in the wild profiles a 2-person operation, 2 nurses who quit a hospital system, rented a garage, and built a telehealth clinic using free tools and retired physician volunteers. Within 6 months, they were seeing 140 patients a week with a 48-hour wait time. The hospital system had spent $2.3 million on a digital transformation that produced 11 logins per day. That is an asymmetric advantage. That is the Frankenstein methodology in the field. The cold cockpit is about what happens to your brain at 175 beats per minute: tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, cognitive collapse. Your planning brain goes dark and your survival brain takes the wheel. The article delivers the protocol that Navy SEALs, emergency surgeons, and hostage negotiators use to override it: box breathing, the decision journal, and the 5-minute rule. And the closing essay, "The diploma is a death certificate," delivers the warning nobody wants to hear. The half-life of a professional skill has collapsed from 20 years in 1960 to 18 months in 2025. If your last significant learning event was your graduation, the diploma is not a certificate of achievement. It is a death certificate, a record of the date your intellectual evolution stopped. Every article is original. Every framework is actionable. Nothing was sourced. Nothing was borrowed. Every word is mine. Voltage is available now on Amazon Kindle and for NGB9. It is $3.99. And it is also available in softcover for those of you who want something that sits on a desk and works quietly. If you are waiting for the legacy world to announce its own obsolescence, you will die waiting. Institutions do not commit suicide. They do not hand over the keys. They build higher walls and demand more compliance. Voltage is for the people who stopped waiting. Read it, build it, or get out of the way.